You do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, go for it.
Welcome to the Wally Show Aftercast.
You did so good.
Where we get to things that we didn't get to on the 2 to 3 things that Betty and I did
That's right.
today. So there's plenty of content to work through, and I don't know any of it.
All right.
Actually.
Yeah. Gavin was like, what do you need me to prepare? And I was like, I just need you to sit there and listen. And then he said,
I'm not going to repeat that. I'm just going to sit, smile, and wave, boys. Just the pretty boy over here.
You sound like the penguins in Madagascar.
Smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave, boys.
That's what I'm here for.
So you were asking me earlier last night when I was winding down for the night and I got on TikTok. I know. And I regret my decisions when I stay on there too long. I don't want to, okay? Hear me out. But I remember what I got stuck on, and it was all of these people doing adjustments. So chiropractors.
Oh, just the
Yes.
the sound.
Yes. And I forget what they call it, but there's one where they'll wrap a towel around your throat and you're laying on your back and they'll take both ends of the towel under your chin.
So wait, am I?
So they're standing behind you.
I'm on my stomach?
No, you're on your back. You're laying on your back.
Oh, I see.
They have a towel wrapped around your neck, okay? Yeah. And then they're standing behind you and they've got their hands on both ends of the towel. And then they're like, okay, relax, relax, relax. And then kapow! And there are people that come in and they cannot walk straight. And once they're done, they're brand new. It's just, I was shocked. And I sat there and watched so many of, but there was one that freaked me out. And it was where she would pull the skin on their back and you would hear a popping noise. And I'm like, why?
Why?
What is it like dislocating from?
It's a weird version of ASMR to hear these people and they have these microphones on and they're like, and exhale and push.
Well, there was one guy that's a chiropractor and I could just tell he was giving full of himself. Like he knows that he's a good looking guy. And it was just everything, his demeanor the whole time. I was like, I gotta go to another account. This is gross. But does this happen to you where you're scrolling and all of a sudden there'll be a video that pops up and it'll say, I know you've been scrolling for a while.
Oh,
blah,
really?
blah, blah. That doesn't happen to you?
So I've gotten the occasional video that'll say, you've been going all day and now now you've hit the bottom of the bear. Or it's like, you've hit the you've gotten
Do you just scroll past it?
Yeah. I love it because it's their little, hey, you've gotten to the end of TikTok. I'm like, whatever, dude. I got light years to go.
Oh, no, I get it. So anyways, that's what I was doing last night, was watching people dislocate their skin from their skeletons. I don't really know. Okay, so I came across this story, and you know me, I love animal attack stories.
I mean,
okay?
I like hearing you talk about animal attack stories.
If you ever want to hear a story about a guy getting mauled by a grizzly bear 3 times in a row, I got the podcast for you. I mean, ripped his face clean off.
We're talking that scalp is somewhere to be found.
Anyways, this one is not near as bad,
Sorry,
but it
kids.
was in Australia. Okay,
course.
so in Australia, everything is out to hurt you. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's the frogs, it's the mud, it's the bark on the trees, and I'm not exaggerating. Look it up. Anyways, so, I thought this was in Australia, but I guess it was an Australian monkey. I don't know. This was in Alabama.
Oh.
Okay, but I still stand on what I say.
Semi-similar.
Anything in Australia will kill you.
Alabama's like the Australia of America.
It really is.
It's wild down there.
So at Starbucks, there was a woman that pulled up into the drive-thru line. She ordered a coffee, and then she goes to the window, and the Starbucks barista is going out the window to hand her the coffee. When the customer rolls her window down to get that said coffee, a monkey jumps out of the woman's car through the window and jumps through the drive-through Starbucks window and attacks the barista to the point that it starts gnawing on her arm and then chewing on her ear. Okay, she freaks out, of course. You can imagine.
She does not deserve this.
And then another Starbucks employee ran to help this woman, took the monkey, pulled it off of the barista and threw it out the window, and at least it landed in the car with
to its owner?
The owner. So anyways, I give the woman some credit. This woman that owned the monkey, she drove off, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. But she drove off, parked, and then came into the Starbucks to check on the woman.
Not a hit and run.
Or a bite and run. I don't really know.
Monkey run.
But anyways, so she came to check on the barista. She ended up going to the hospital because, of course, you got bit and mauled by a monkey. Like, yeah, you need to go to the hospital for that. Anyway, she could be looking at getting sued or something. But I guess that this is not new for this woman. So this woman had another monkey in the car that just happened to not be in attack mode. And so she had 2 monkeys and she dresses them up. She'll put little costumes on them and she'll put them in little diapers. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
And I guess those are just 2 of the monkeys that she owns. She has other monkeys. But anyways, all that to say,
don't bring your monkeys to Starbucks.
I think what it was maybe this woman that owns the monkeys, maybe she saw on TikTok where all these people are getting pup cups with their dogs and their cats.
This is her pet.
Yeah.
So.
But listen, that monkey did not want a pup cup. It wanted a bite.
It wanted a, yeah. That is it's an interesting, like just when you hear stories of people who own pets that aren't necessarily meant to be like domesticated, like hearing there used to be a show either on Animal Planet or a different channel where it was like stories of people who owned like animals that are known to be like carnivorous, like tigers, bears, lions,
Tiger King,
just existing in this world where you sit there and you're like, okay, here is this animal that I look at, and for some people, for her, it's like she looks at this monkey and she's like, this is my baby, my child, my pet, whatever you see a monkey as. But that tigers, these types of animals,
they're not meant to be caged.
They're not meant to be.
Listen,
your friends.
I want a bear cub.
100%.
I want a raccoon. But am I going to get one?
The raccoon feels like the most likely.
I don't know. Maybe like I could eventually, once I get old and desperate. I don't know. Maybe. But there is an exotic pet like fair or something.
Really?
Where you can go. I looked it up. Someone told me about it and it was in Nashville. And I looked it up and they canceled it probably because there were a lot of complaints. But I guess there you can get like a pet raccoon or a pet squirrel. I'd be down for that.
Well, it's tough too because whether it's TikTok or Facebook, you see these videos of, and I rescued a squirrel or something, and I nursed it to health, and it's just part of the family.
It's so cute.
And you're like, that's adorable, but that's it's not real life. So
I know. It's so true.
I could see the woman suing for monkey biting.
Right, and two, that reminds me. I was watching some show. I forget what it was. I think it was A&E, but it was like weird 911 calls. And one was about a woman that was getting attacked by a monkey, but it was an ape, I think.
See,
and those are bigger monkeys.
Yeah, if you're talking gorillas.
Right. They said it was frustrated and it just attacked this woman. And I mean, she did not come out unscathed. Yeah. Okay.
Like chimpanzees are stronger.
Yeah, it was crazy. But anyways, don't get a monkey. And monkeys kind of freak me out anyways. Their little eyes are a little bit odd, alienish.
They have too much autonomy with the thumbs.
Yeah, it's
they
just
can
weird.
get anywhere.
It's weird. Another story that I found, and Gavin, I want to get your 2 cents on this. Do you think, looking at men and women, do you think women are more picky about men being cute or attractive, whereas men are not as picky?
I think men are pickier.
Oh, really?
Just in essence, because I think you hear more stories of women being like attracted to a dad bod and fatherly figure and all these things.
Fatherly figure.
You don't. I rocking those all the time. You don't necessarily, I feel like, hear as many stories of the guy who's like, like mom bod, that's just so cute.
No, you're right.
She just looks like, she's so sweet.
Cellulite, stretch marks, I'm all in.
I think guys don't go that direction. I think we are way pickier about looks than women are.
Well, I like to hear that because this article, it started with a question, and they asked all these men. They said, if you walked into a room with 1,000 single women around your age, how many of them do you think would be attracted to you? Now, if you were given that scenario.
1,000 women.
Yep, 1,000 women. How many do you think would be attracted to you?
I'm going to say probably less than, I would think less than 300. I'm going to go with less than 300.
Wow.
Just because I'm just going to speak my truth here.
Speak your truth.
Because if you're going to enter a situation where the person, aka me in this scenario, you're talking about at least a guy who's like shorter than the average man, is heavier than the average 5'6" male as well. Maybe they're not into like the facial hair and all that stuff. And if it's all based on looks, I think I'm a slightly, more favorable personality than I am a physical attribute. So I would say, and I'm going off of this too, that, some of those women might be, again, taller than me and might not find a shorter than them man attractive.
That's very true.
And some of them may be more out of my league and would not find me as attractive. But I'm going to say this, 3 out of 10, probably on my level.
Wow. Okay. So you're pretty confident. And I like that because in this article, 42% of the men that were asked said they did not have high hopes and said between 1 and 25 of the women.
Whoa. Oh, that's way smaller than what I thought. I'm just attractive. It depends. Either some women might look at me and be like, man, that guy's, man, like a munch cake. That looks delicious. Or they're going to be like, oh, like he's cute. Like probably more like,
oh, look at it.
Look at it. Like, and does that count?
I don't know, but that's interesting. Okay, so only 14% of the guys said that more than 200 of that 1,000 women would be attracted to them. And
so
there
confident.
you are, being like at the top. I don't know.
Hot stuff over here.
So anyways,
I didn't expect
interesting.
that.
So some of the comments that were left on this question online, one guy said, if I walked in right now, zero women would be attracted to me.
That's funny.
But if I had a chance to shave and dress up, maybe like 5.
Yeah.
Another person said, can I talk to them for a few hours, or is it like a first sight based on appearance only stuff? Which is interesting. But one man said that he thought women are a lot pickier than men, that if I walked around a college campus, I would find at least half of the girls attractive enough to date. But if the tables were turned, there's a lot of girls on college campuses that would say boys on their campus, they're like, yeah.
If I were to go back to college, that is probably true.
I think the problem is that women, maybe they're more picky, not so much on looks, but maturity. So if you're running across a bunch of dumb boys that are doing stupid things,
and
you're not attracted to them. Whereas guys are more led by their eyes.
Yeah.
We're more led by our
actions and
minds. I don't know.
You probably are.
Like you can look past a lot of things that are physical if they're a good, genuine person.
And I would say across the board, when it comes to looks, outfits, everything about physical attribute, like women across the board try harder than a guy will. Like, again, just going back to, a setting like college where you have 50,000 18 to 22-year-olds, like you had just like loafs of men who just did not do anything. And I 100% like, and again, I was dating Haley and she was long distance. So nobody I needed to impress. So that's why you saw a dude in like sweatpants and joggers and, whatever hoodie I could find getting to his 8 a.m. class.
Right. But there is some truth in what you're saying, because I think, and Wally has said this too, when it comes to women, we do our makeup, we do our hair and all this stuff. And, I've heard him say, and I've heard my dad say too, if I were a woman, I wouldn't even bother. But I think a lot of it is impressing other women. It's not
the physical standard. It's higher.
There's an expectation. But I do remind myself too, is you look at Kim Kardashian, you look at Shania Twain, all these beautiful women that, have everything, the hair, the body, the face, like they've got it. And yet they still couldn't keep their guy. And I'm not saying that the girls did something wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that looks can only go so far. Like you can get all the liposuction, you could get the lip filler, you can get all the laser treatments, but honestly, it can only get you so far. And then you come across these women that maybe aren't model material, but they've got the best husband ever. And it's because there's something deeper there than looks.
Sure.
So I remind myself of that on those days where I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyways, all I know now, though, is Gavin has got a lot of confidence, okay? And he thinks he's just a little gingerbread man walking in there, and all the ladies are like, oh,
I want a piece of that.
Oh, gosh.
Well, okay, but if you flip that and, like, you were the one who entered a room with 1,000 men.
Yeah.
What number would you say? Of those men who
right now, 0.
No. Let's take it all. I took it as my best.
Okay.
I took it at my best.
At my best. Maybe. Out of 1,000, maybe. I don't know. Maybe 50. Maybe 100?
I did not know how confident I was in myself. And the problem is that I don't personally think...
Don't you do it.
I'm attractive.
You are a beautiful man. Accept it. All those women are like, oh, if only he were single. That's all they're thinking. Oh, we've learned so much today. Anyways, no birthdays today.
Okay.
We'll be back tomorrow, and then we're out Friday. But until then, thanks for being a potty. Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.